So is the screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go to the next unit. So which is microwave vacuum tubes. So this is a uh, new unit which will going to start. Okay. So what are these microwave vacuum tubes and why these microwave vacuum tubes are used and where it will be helpful and also the applications. Okay. So before coming to the microwave vacuum tubes, so the earlier whatever solid state devices, they are used to generate the power required for the applications. Okay. So but what happens in the solid state devices, they will have the power which is limited or low power it is generating. So the high powers it is not able to generate by the solid state devices. And also the electronic vacuum tubes which are used to generate the power at the low frequencies. Okay. So now in order to generate high powers and at also high frequency. Okay. So if you take the solid state devices at microwave frequency, so there are some problems which we encounter the solid state devices to generate the power. So what are all the problems which are faced by the solid state devices, and also how that will be overcome by these vacuum devices we will see. Okay. So as I said, operating principles of vacuum tubes at microwave frequencies is different from electronic vacuum tubes. So this what are these electronic vacuum tubes? These are tetrodes, pentodes, and triodes, and also diode vacuum tubes are available. Okay. So these are all the some of the electronic vacuum tubes. So at higher frequency if you go, so these electronic vacuum tubes fail to generate the power. So why it is failed to generate the power? Due to many reasons. So if you take the some of the what are all the problems which occur in the electronic vacuum tubes, so to generate the power is, so as we have seen already, at the higher frequency there will be a parasitic effect. So what is the parasitic effect? There will be a capacitive reactances as well as the inductive reactances which will come into picture at the higher frequency. So even the lead of the component it will give the parasitic effect. So because of that, the electronic vacuum tubes fail to generate the power at the higher frequencies. Okay. So if you take the simple the any circuit which is triode circuit, which will be having the cathode and grid and plate. Okay. So here, so this is the actual cathode and this is a grid at this position and this is a plate. Okay. So what happens at this generally, if the cathode generates the electrons and it will pass through this grid and it should collect by the plate. So then it will, the plate which will collect at this, it will give the power which happens at this resonance frequency. Okay. So what happens when the higher frequencies, so the when we go to higher frequency, so the wavelength of the signal which is very less and it will change the fast with positive and negative half cycles. Okay. So whatever we give input at this side, so the signal cycle which will change very fast due to higher frequency. So when the electrons emitted by this cathode, when it is reaching the grid, so the grid will change very fast with positive and negative cycle. So because of that, the electrons, if it is in the negative cycle, it will repelled by the, so this grid to the same to the cathode, and it will not reach the plate and it will not properly generate the signal or power signal at the particular resonance frequency. So because of this, so at higher frequency, so the power will not be able to generate due to the the electrons which will not reach the plate. Okay. And also we need to take the effect of the transit time which we calculate for electrons which will travel from cathode to the plate. So whatever the time taken by the electrons which is travel from this cathode to this plate, so that will taken it as transit time. So that transit time at higher frequency, what will happen? It will comparable to the wavelength of the signal. So that's why, so that will become significantly so comparable to the signal frequency, and it will decreases the tube efficiency because of the maximum electrons will not be able to collect this plate. Okay, so that's why this in this triodes, tetrodes or pentodes, the efficiency will going to decrease because of this transit time effect. And as I said, the parasitic effects are there. So inter electrode capacitance, so whatever electrodes are there, so the grid, plate and cathode, so that capacitance which will be there, so these capacitances, this will be giving the effect, and this inter electrode capacitance will become parallel to this resonance circuit, so that the frequency will going to change. Okay, so because of this inter electrode capacitance or parasitic effect, so the frequency will also going to change. So and also this tuning frequency of this circuit will going to change at the higher frequency. So because of this inter electrode capacitance, so it is very difficult to produce the power at the higher frequency using this electronic vacuum tubes. And also lead inductance, as I said, so this lead inductance again it will become parallel to each other with this inter electrode capacitance as well as the tuning circuit. So this will again decreases the overall efficiency of the tube as well as the overall circuit efficiency, it will going to decrease. And also we have seen so other types of effects at the microwave frequency which are prominent, which are skin depth as well as the radiation loss, and also it will be having a conductor and dielectric loss. So those are also considered to effectively calculate this tube efficiency. If we consider all those effects at the higher frequency, so these electronic vacuum tubes fail to generate the high power signals. So that's why we need some specialized vacuum tubes to generate high powers and also at the higher frequencies. So for that we will go for this microwave vacuum tubes. Now how the microwave vacuum tubes generate the power signals, and we will see the mechanism how it will be happening this microwave vacuum tube. Okay, so as I said, the transit time required for electrons to travel from cathode to plate is insignificant at low frequencies. So at microwave frequency, this becomes comparable to the signal cycle or appreciable portion. So by using this transit time effect itself, so the advantage of this transit time effect will taken into consideration in the microwave tube, and it will going to generate the high power microwave signals. So as I said, this transit time of 0.1 cycle excess causes the phase shift. So since at higher frequency, so it is comparable to the wavelength of this signal. So the significant phase change will happen between the plate and the grid. So that will decrease the again tube efficiency. Okay. So for this efficient operation of the tube, the plate current must be in phase with the grid signal voltage and 180° out of phase with the plate voltage. So then only the electronic tubes will be efficiently work. So because of this transit time effect, so because of this phase shift, it may not happen. So it will decrease the tube efficiency. Okay. So as I said, so this transit time effect will be very much significant and prominent in the higher frequency, so that we need to take into consideration. Okay, so even other methods also in the electronic vacuum tubes are made available to generate the power, but so the limitations which are beyond 1 gigahertz, whatever the methods which they are used, that will not work. So what are the methods? So just they're reducing the electrodes between this grid and cathode. So those electrodes if you put far apart, so then the size of the tube it will going to reduce, and also so this inter electrode capacitance will be reduced. So because of this, so the inter electrode capacitance if it is reduced, then the tube efficiency will increase. So if you do like that, so but the other problems it will create, as I said, electrodes will be go far. Okay, so because of this moving of the electrodes apart, so this increases the transit time and reduces the size of the tube, and it will also reduces the power handling capacity. So the net effect, it will increase the frequency to higher side, and so this will be practically it is not possible to increase the electrodes, the distance of the electrodes. Okay, so this is one of the problems. So this method we can use to generate the high power that power signals, but it is practically very difficult. Okay, so now what is the method we need to use in the microwave tubes to generate the high frequency, that is in the microwave frequency, to generate the high power, so in terms of 1 watt or 2 watts. So the concept which is used for electron in the microwave vacuum tubes is electron velocity modulation concept. So what is this velocity modulation concept, and how the electrons will be modulated using their acceleration or deceleration? So that will be, so we'll see, and how this velocity modulation and transit time, which will convert the electron DC power into a RF power. So that we will going to see in the vacuum tubes. So now what is meant by velocity modulation of electrons? So say for example, if you take this electrode and it is charged with positive and negative this one. So if the electron which is, so how it will going to accelerate? If the electron is, it is in the opposite direction of this electric field. Okay, so if it is going opposite to the direction of electric field, so since it is positively charged this side electrode, and this electron, it will attract to this positively charged electrode, and it will take the energy of this electric field and it will going to accelerate. Okay, so if it is going opposite to the electric field, so this taking this energy of this electric field by this electron, so this will going to accelerate. So in the similar way, if it is going in the same direction, so this electrode, since it is negative, the electron will be, so it is in the same polarity, it will repel this one. So this electrode will repel the electron, so by giving this energy to the electric field, so that the electron will going to decelerate. So now by using this acceleration or deceleration of the electron, so with respect to this electric field, the velocity of the electron will going to increase or decrease. So that is what we'll call it as velocity modulation. So by this concept, so if we so apply the field properly, RF field properly, so either the electron will going to accelerate or it will going to decelerate. So by doing this velocity modulation concept, so we can able to collect the, so the energy of the electrons maximally. So that will be done using, so this concept, it will be adopted to microwave tubes, and it will be so generating the microwave the power. Okay, so this is the concept of velocity modulation. So now coming to the types of microwave tubes, so based on this, the electric field and DC magnetic field. So what are the types of microwave tubes are there? So if the accelerating E field and focusing DC magnetic field are in the same direction, so we'll call it as the types of tubes are O-type tubes or linear beam tubes. So examples are klystron and TWT. So we'll going to so discuss this klystron and TWT. Okay, and if the accelerating E field and the focusing DC magnetic field are perpendicular, so then we'll call the tubes are M-type microwave tubes, and the example is magnetron. Okay, these are the two types of microwave tubes are there, so which will generate the high power microwave signals. Okay, so now coming to the klystrons, so these are the one of the types of the microwave tubes, so where it will generate the linear beam, and it will be the whatever the electric field, it is accelerating E field, which is in the same direction of applied DC magnetic field. So now in this klystron there are two basic configurations are there. So one is the low power microwave oscillator, so that will be used in our labs also, so that will be called it as reflex klystron, and another one is called as multi cavity klystron, which will be used for low power microwave amplification. Okay, so in our laboratory, so we'll use reflex klystron, which is called as low power microwave oscillator. So that klystron or reflex klystron, which will be shown here, the block diagram of the reflex klystron oscillator. So you can see here, so there is a cathode for generating the, see, the electrons or electronic beam generation, it will going to happen, and there is a cavity which is given by the potential, positive potential, which is V naught. So and this is having the cavity which is called as re-entrant resonant cavity, So why? Because re-entrant resonant cavity. So the cavity design, it is in such a way that it will be having a small space here, and there will be a sufficient space at these two sides. So that's why this is the structure which is called as re-entrant resonant cavity. Okay, and there is a repeller here. So on this space which is the anode, so this is cavity and it is positively charged, so that's why it is called as cavity anode. And the space between this cavity anode and the repeller space, and the repeller which is connected to a negative potential, so which we call it as repeller. And the space between this cavity anode and the repeller, which is called as repeller space. And this repeller plate which is negatively charged, and these are all the grids. Okay, so there is a accelerating grid here, so which will be used to generate whatever the cathode, which will generate the electrons, which will be going to accelerate by this accelerating grid. And the power which is coming in this cavity, which is collected by the coaxial cable. Okay, so now we will see how this reflex klystron will generate the microwave signal and the operation of this reflex klystron. Okay, so now this uses the single re-entrant cavity resonator. Okay, and as I said, there is a cathode K and accelerating grid G, and also there is a cavity anode AB. Okay, and also there is a repeller which is connected to the negative potential, that is R. Okay, so now to maintain the oscillations, the feedback is required to this cavity. Okay, and this whatever the electrons which is produced by the cathode, so that cathode, so it will be accelerated through this anode and it will be collected to the cavity. So now how this the electrons will be collected to the cavity, we will see by using this velocity modulation concept. We can going to collect that energy of the electrons which is produced by this cathode. Okay, so now this, because of the repelling action of this, we'll call it as this klystron as reflex klystron oscillator. Okay, so now we will see the mechanism of oscillations, how it will going to produce in this so reflex klystron. So now we can see, so this is the internal diagram of this reflex klystron. So as I said, there is a cathode here, so there is an electron gun, so this will going to generate the electron which is produced by this electron gun. And so this cavity which is called as re-entrant resonant cavity, so as I said, because of this small space, so the design of this cavity which is called as re-entrant resonant cavity. So and this cavity which is same at this side and this side, and this whatever the space which is created here, this is uh, uh, to change the velocity of the electron. Okay, and this cavity is uh, given by the potential, positive potential, which is called as P naught, and the repeller which is given by the negative potential. So why it is given by negative potential, we will see. Okay, so now whenever the electron which is produced by this electron gun, which is travel through this accelerating grid, and it will be accelerated by this accelerating grid G, and it will come to the nearby cavity. So since it is anode connected by positive potential, so it will be having some RF field which is produced by this potential. Okay, in the cavity. So this is the RF field which is produced by the potential in the cavity. So now when the electrons which are passed through this cavity, so which will be experience this RF field. Okay, so whenever this, say for example, some three electrons which we are taking here, A, B and C. Okay, so now whenever the electron A which is passing through this cavity, and if it is experiences the positive cycle of the RF field which is produced by the cavity, so since it is the electron which is experiences the positive RF cycle, so it will going to accelerate. Okay, so whatever the original velocity of the electron A, so which is coming from the cathode, and it experiences the positive RF cycle, and it will accelerated so after this cavity, so passing through this cavity. And similarly, if the B electron B which is coming from so this cathode, it experiences zero RF field. So we can see here which is having a zero field, and it will travel through the same velocity which is coming from this cathode. Okay, and when you take the electron C, it experiences the negative RF field and it will decelerate the velocity. That means the velocity will going to reduce. So for this electron C. So now when these electrons will be accelerated, and it will some of the electrons which will going to the cavity, or after passing this cavity with the same velocity, and some of the electrons will going to decelerate. So this is what we'll call it as velocity modulation. Okay, so now, so this velocity modulation, when it happens after this cavity, so now this repeller which is having the negative potential, so since the electrons are also negatively charged and this repeller also negatively given negative potential, so since they are repel each other, and these electrons are retarded by this repeller, and this will reflect by this repeller, and this will going to repel by the repeller. Okay, so now the space between this repeller and the cavity which is called as L, and this whatever the space in the cavity which is called as D. Okay, so now by intelligently designing this D and the spacing L, so now we can collect these electrons at a particular point where this it will be having a maximum energy, because so whenever the repeller is repelling back the electrons, it will going to retard and it will going to lose the energy. So before losing of this and those electrons energy, we need to collect those electrons and we need to take that energy. So that we'll call it as, that process we'll call it as bunching of electrons. Okay, so this bunching of electrons we need to take, and we need to collect those energy in the positive RF cycle. So okay, so this repeller space we need to design, or the klystron which is designed the repeller space, so it should be designed in such a way that so the all the electrons energy should be so collected at the positive RF cycle. So that will be the intelligent design of this reflex klystron. So that space, if it is adjusted to collect this electrons energy at the positive cycle, and this positive cycle all the electrons which will be bunched and the energy will be collected, and again it will be give it to the cavity. Okay, so now whenever this resonant frequency of this cavity and it matches the bunched electrons energy, so that energy it will going to be cavity, and this whatever the energy collected at this cavity, so we need to put the coaxial cable and the center conductor of the cable which will go into the cavity, and it will be collected by the so through the cable, and it will be given to the other devices. So like this the electrons are velocity modulated and it is bunched at the particular positive RF cycle, and it will collect the energy, and those energy it will be produce the microwave oscillation in the cavity at the cavity resonance frequency. So now that RF output power which will be collected by the coaxial cable, as I said here, the cable coaxial cable center conductor it is connected to the cavity, and this coupling it will happen through this coaxial cable and the power will be taken out. Okay, so this is the actual the mechanism of oscillation, so which will taken place through the uh, microwave that is reflex klystron. So now the whatever the bunched electron which will give the energy to the cavity, so which will happen at the positive cycle. So you can see here, so the mechanism, so it may be happen at the some time t naught which is equal to 3 by 4, or it may happen at 1 third one of that 1 3 by 4th of the time. Okay, so this will be called it as the modes of oscillation. So if the electrons which is bunched in the RF cycle, positive RF cycle, so in the first positive of cycle, when that will be called it as 3 by 4th mode, and if it is collected at the so next subsequent RF cycles, RF positive cycles, then we can name it as 1 3 by 4 and 2 3 by 4. Like that we can go on naming the mode of oscillations. Okay. So as I said, the mechanism of oscillation. So due to this DC voltage in the cavity circuit, RF noise is generated. So this electromagnetic noise field in the cavity becomes pronounced at the cavity resonance frequency. So now the electron passing through this cavity gap D and experiences this RF field, and it will be velocity modulated, and this repeller space is so adjusted so that the electrons energy it will be collected at the RF positive field. Okay. So now as I this physical design which is the space of this repeller space which controls the number of modes possible. So when we go on changing the repeller voltage, so this will going to change, and it will the collection of electrons it will going to change at the different RF the positive cycle. Okay. So the choice of mode which is generated here, whatever the modes which will going to generate here, so that modes will decide the frequency as well as the power. Okay. So if the lowest order mode, or if the first mode which is coming which will be having the higher power, and subsequent modes which will be having the lower power, and we will see that how the power it will going to so calculate by using this mode of oscillation. Okay. So whatever explained, so which is written here, the electron A in the figure which is encountered a positive off cycle of the RF field in the cavity gap D will be accelerated, and similarly electron B and electron C which will be having there is no velocity acceleration or original velocity which will be there for electron B, and deceleration which will happen for electron C. So all these velocity modulated electrons which will be repelled back by the repeller due to negative potential, and the repeller distance L and the voltage can be adjusted to receive all the voltage modulated electrons at the same point on the positive peak of the cavity RF velocity cycle. Okay. So these velocity modulated electrons bunch together and they lose their energy at the positive off cycle in the cavity. So this RF field which will be transferred to the cavity, and this total power in the cavity will be taken through the coaxial cable. Okay. So now if the power delivered by the bunched electrons to the cavity is greater than the power loss in the cavity, so then the EM field so which will produce the microwave oscillations at the resonant frequency of the cavity. Okay. So if the power delivered by the bunched electrons, if it is equal to the total power loss which in the cavity, so then the steady microwave oscillations will be generated. Okay. At the resonant frequency of the cavity. So now the coaxial cable which is used for the collection of the RF power from the cavity. Okay. So this is about the mechanism of oscillation in the reflex crystal, and how the power will be collected at the cavity and this micro oscillations will be generated. And the mode of oscillations, as I said, so the particular mode will be having the some particular power, and by adjusting the repeller voltage, so this will be the modes of oscillations can be produced. Okay. So the bunched electrons in a reflex klystron can be deliver maximum power to the cavity at any instant of positive peak of the RF cycle. So as I said here, any positive peak you can take, so it will give the maximum power. So now at what positive peak or what time we will going to collect the electrons, that will be very important. So now if the time period t is the resonance frequency of the cavity, and t naught is the time taken by the reference electron, if we take the b as the reference electron, so because of the there is no velocity which is increased or decreased by this electron b. So if we take the b as the reference electron, if the t naught time is taken uh, by the electron to travel from the repeller space to the cavity, so this is the time. So whenever this b is traveling to this repeller space and coming back to this cavity. The time taken, which is called as T naught. Okay, so that time T naught, so which will be represented here, which is n plus 3 by 4 of the time period, and this n is called as n plus 3 by 4, which is called as mode of oscillations. So n is for n equal to particular, so for small value of n which is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, so we will get the mode of oscillation n equal to 3 by 4 and 1 3 by 4 like that. Okay, so now, so if you take the 3 by 4th mode, so the time taken by the electron which is repelled by the repeller and collection of the positive peak, it is the time is very much less. Okay, so that's why, so this will probably, so this will not be effectively give the power, so that's why we'll take the lowest mode as 1 by 1 third 1 3 by 4th of the mode. Okay, so this is the lowest mode which will give the, so maximum power. Okay, and produces the micro oscillations properly. Okay, so that's why we'll take, so in the reflex klystron, so this mode is the lowest mode. Okay, so now coming to the power output and efficiency, so we need to calculate for the different modes, so how the power output and the efficiency of the, so particular mode. So in order to calculate that, the power output of a reflex klystron, so as I said, it is maximum. So if the bunched electrons return to the cavity gap, so when the gap field is positive maximum, that means this, the RF cycle which is having a positive peak, it will, the bunched electron will give the maximum power. Okay, so now this been calculated by using the various parameter. So in order to calculate that, so some assumptions should be made in the velocity modulation. So what are the assumptions we need to make? So the cavity grids and repeller are plane, parallel and very large in extent. So that repeller space which is having which will be in the large extent, and no RF field is excited in the repeller space. Okay, so there is no RF field which is encountered in this repeller space, so that assumptions need to be done in order to calculate the power output. And also electrons are not intercepted by the cavity anode grid. Okay, so here there is a anode grid is there, so this is an anode grid, that accelerating grid which is nearby this cavity anode, so that, so need not be intercepted by the electrons. So whatever this cavity which is there here and the here, so that should not be intercepted by the electrons, only in this space D which is specified, so only here the electron should pass. Okay, and no debunching takes place in the repeller space. So as I said, so these electrons which are passing through this cavity and repelled by the repeller, so all these electrons should be collected and bunching should take place. So it should not debunching happen, one electron should go somewhere here and somewhere here like that, it should not happen in the repeller space. Okay, so assuming this all these things, and the cavity RF gap voltage V1 which is small compared to DC voltage V0, so whatever V0 which is giving to the cavity resonator, so that V1, so the cavity voltage V1, so which is the RF cavity gap voltage amplitude V1 which is small compared to the beam, so that beam voltage or cavity uh, voltage which will be given here, so that should be very small. So with these assumptions we can able to calculate the power output and efficiency. Okay, so now this is the some of the equations are used to calculate the power efficiency and power output and the efficiency. So the electron velocity, so u attained due to DC beam voltage, so the velocity of the electron due to this whatever DC beam voltage which is applied here. Okay, so that is given by this equation. So q equal to u naught which is equal to 2 into e v naught by m. Okay, so now when we have assumed that v1 is far less than v naught, the average transit time through the cavity gap d and transit angle, so this is the transit time in the cavity gap, and the average microwave voltage in the cavity gap we can calculate using this equation. Okay, so and this beta 1 which is called as beam coupling coefficient, so how much the electron beam which is generated by the cathode which is coupling efficiently and which is going through the cavity anode and it is repelled by the repeller and the bunching takes place. So the coupling, so the beam which is coupled, how much efficient, which is in the form of sin x by x, so that will be given by the value beta 1. Okay, so now the exit velocity from the cavity gap after velocity modulation, so which is given by this equation, and where here v beta 1 by v beta v naught, so this will be called as depth of modulation, so how much it is the modulation it is happening, so which is given by this expression. Now if the modulation amplitude is very much small, so then the velocity modulation we can approximate so by this expression. So now the transit time we can calculate so by using this equation, so it is a time taken by the electrons to travel through the cavity and repelled by the repeller space, so that's why it is 2 times, it is a round trip time from the cavity, again it will come back to the same cavity, so that's why it is 2 times the velocity of u by the acceleration of the electron. Okay, so this is the transit time taken by the electron. So now the electron acceleration, so which is given by these equations, so and the transit time we can calculate by using this a, so which you can substitute here, and the velocity we can substitute from the earlier equation, and it will give the transit time, so in terms of this acceleration and velocity. Okay, so now since the electrons, reference electrons does not undergo any velocity modulation, its transit time given by 2 u naught by a. Okay, so which is given by n into t, so n will call it as the mode number and t will be the resonant period of the cavity. Okay, so this is the transit time which is given by the reference electron. Okay, so now the density modulation and beam current, what is meant by density modulation? So whatever the electrons which will going to be collect, so the bunching which is takes place, so all the electrons which will going to the positive cycle and the electrons will become dense, so the energy will be transferred to the uh, cavity, that the process of the coming all the electrons at the point where the positive cycle is there, that is called as density modulation. Okay, so for that density modulation, so the beam current will be given by this expression. So the fundamental RF induced current is so this one, so the RF current which is induced, so which is given by this equation using this, so the beta 1, so which is defined earlier, and this j1 of x which is called as Bessel function, so that Bessel function we can able to take from, so the which is the given by the Bessel values, so from that Bessel function for a particular value of x it will give the value, so by taking that value we can calculate the induced current. Okay, so now by using all these equations we can calculate the power, the RF power which is given by V1 into IRF by 2. So IRF we can take from this equation and we can substitute the values, and this V1 by V naught which is given by the uh, x value, and this beta 1 we can take it from here, so the beta 1 that is beam coupling coefficient we can take, and the RMS power, that RF power delivered to the cavity which is given by this one. Okay, so since as I said 3 by 4th of the mode which will be not giving very good power, so the time taken by the electrons which is very less, so that's why we'll take the lowest mode as n equal to 1 by 3rd. Okay, so that's why we will take the power RF power output for the 1 by 3rd mode, and we can get the particular value of the mode n, so we'll get the power output using this equation. Okay, so now if you substitute the value of n for one third by fourth of the mode, so you will get the corresponding power output and efficiency, so which will give the 22.7% of efficiency for n equal to one third 3 by fourth of the mode. Okay, so this is what we'll call it as the, so we'll get the power output and efficiency. So now, so all these equations you need not to remember, because only end equations are included in this derivation. Okay, so only you have to remember the end equation, the output power and also the efficiency. Okay, so now if we want to calculate for a particular value of the mode with the I naught and V naught given, so you will get the corresponding value of the power output and efficiency for that particular mode. Okay, so this is about the power output and efficiency of the reflex klystron. Okay, so is it understood? Any doubt in this? How the uh, reflex klystron works and it will generate the microwave oscillations. Okay, so is there any doubt? So, and also as I said here, so electron beam generation, velocity modulation, and density modulation, and this collection of energy at the cavity, and also the transfer of energy of this bunched electrons energy to the cavity. All this process in the reflex klystron, it is taking uh, separately, right? So even in some other tubes it will take simultaneously, so that will call it as traveling wave tube, so that will be discussed later. So the process which will be for generation of micro oscillations, so in this reflex klystron, these 5 process which will be separately uh, it will happen. Okay, so this is about the reflex klystron, so even which will be used in our microwave laboratory. So this reflex klystron to generate the power, okay, at the high frequencies. So is there any doubt in this? Hello, is it understood the process? Any doubt? Manasa, hello, hello Manasa, any doubt? Harshita, hello Harshita, any
Yes.
doubt?
No, sir.
Have you understood the process, the reflex
Yes,
klystron?
sir. I understood.
Sir, I am present.
Yeah, where you went, ma? You have to speak out now when you call, when we call. Huh?
Sir, I was unmuting the mic, but it was not happening due to some.
Okay. So any doubt? If you have any doubt, you can ask. So we'll see the klystron curves, how the frequency curves and also mode curves in the next class. Okay.